Welcome back. We have arrived in the Stoneship age. And we are standing on what appears to be the ship that has somehow become embedded in the rock after Atreus attempted to write it into the age. How exactly that works, I'm not entirely sure. It's definitely very hard to reconcile this particular change with the rules that were established for changing ages later. So I'm not even gonna try. It will only make your head hurt. Because it's a lot of quantum physics technobabble nonsense. And it doesn't really work with what we see here. The ship appears to be pretty much the same as the one in Myst, except that it seems that we can't go into the cabin because it's underwater. There's that thing with the umbrella on top. And to the right here we can actually see the lighthouse that Atreus built with the help of the boys who lived here. Speaking of whom, I'm noticing a distinct lack of people. Where is everybody? Are they gone? Are they dead? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. The lighthouse appears to have a number of cables running from it, electricity cables by the looks of it. And Atreus did mention a generator to power up the light on the lighthouse. So maybe that has something to do with that. Let's see if we can find anything in the lighthouse. I wonder if it was always this high, or well, obviously not, because Atreus said it sank 40 to 50 centimeters. But I wonder if it sank any further since that last journal entry, because this does seem to be a bit low for a lighthouse. And again, it can't have sunk very far since these planks were put in place, because otherwise they would have probably fallen down. Well, I don't know about the generator, but there is some power, because there's a light here that appears to work. Other than that, the lighthouse appears to be full of water. And there's a hatch leading to the upper level, but unfortunately there is a padlock. And I didn't bring any cutters, or a skeleton key, or a hair clip, or a nail, or anything else we could use to get through this lock. So we're gonna have to find another way. Well, there's a key here, but it's attached to a chain, nailed into the floor here. Now, considering how old this stuff is, and how long this age has presumably been abandoned, I would think you'd probably be able to yank that out of there if you really wanted to. But it seems that the stranger is a wussy, and is not capable of doing so. Therefore, there is a problem getting that key to this lock. Because again, I didn't bring any cutter, so I can't cut this chain. A solution will have to be found, but it appears to be elsewhere. One interesting thing is that there appears to be a step here, which makes you wonder whether or not there are other steps underwater. You know, another thing you might notice here is that it isn't exactly as sunny as the journal described it. So I guess we're currently in more rainy weather mode. And if you've played real Myst, you'll know that in that version of the game it does in fact rain from time to time. But we can't exactly see that in this game because of the technological limitations. There is a doorway in the mountain, or the rock. And it's also flooded. That seems to be a theme here. Water-based puzzles. My mortal enemy. Wait, what? Let's check out the other side of the ship. It's the bow. These sails aren't exactly in good condition, so even if the ship wasn't lodged in the rock, we still probably wouldn't be able to go anywhere. And this doorway is similarly flooded. And I sort of ran in there really, really quickly. Because I accidentally double-clicked. And there's a path leading up, which you may remember from the map in the journal. That map was a lot more complete, by the way, than the one for Selenitic, you may have noticed, because it actually contained some of the stuff in the age, rather than just a general overview of the land. I wonder if there's anything up here. There's music up here. Must be important then. A telescope. I wonder what we will be able to see through this spyglass. Well, not an awful lot. 0 degrees, I guess. And you can drag this, but it only works as long as you're staying inside the game window. Have to be a bit careful. Let's see if there's something more interesting to look at. Not much so far, just a whole bunch of rocks. That's one of the masts of the ship, I think. Ooh, and there's the lighthouse at about 135 degrees. So that's southeast. To the south is another mast. So I guess that's the stern of the ship. Can we see the umbrella thing from here? I don't think so. Would be around here somewhere, I think, but you can't drag up or down. Just from side to side. Nothing to the west, as far as I can tell. Just more rocks and clouds. And we're nearly back where we started. There we are. Well, that wasn't particularly interesting. I guess if the weather was clearer, we might be able to see more. I wonder if they ever confirmed that there were other people somewhere. Definitely would make sense, because otherwise how did all these people show up from nowhere? Unless they all linked, which I sincerely doubt. What is that thing? Actually, I think it's the crow's nest of the ship. Which would be in the part of the rig, of the ship that would actually be in the middle of the rock otherwise. The main mast, which is actually missing from the ship. It seems this is where it is. Interesting. It's very peculiar how this ship got embedded in the rock like that. I wonder what mistake Atreus made to get it like that. It's in any case, it's clear evidence that Atreus was experimenting with various aspects of the arts in this age, and you can actually see that in numerous places throughout this game, but this is probably the most blatant example. The reason he needed to do such experimentation is, of course, that he had no formal dunny training in the art of writing linking books. Instead, he learned most of it from his father, whose own understanding was fairly limited. Gen arrived at the cleft where Atreus and Anna were living and took Atreus away and into Dunny when he was just 14 years old. Atreus, that is, not Gen. And there, Atreus finally saw the places that Anna had been telling him about in the stories during his childhood. The city under the ground, which we have of course also seen in Uru. That's why that was such a momentous occasion for many players when they first stepped into that location to finally see those places for ourselves. Anyway, once they got to the city, Gen instructed Atreus in numerous things, including the Dunny language, as well as the Garo Hefti, which are the special Dunny symbols they use for writing ages. He also indoctrinated Atreus in his vision for Dunny, which is actually that he intended to restore the Dunny civilization and have them rule as gods over the ages they created. However, it turned out Gen's own understanding of the art was very, very limited, having only basic instruction before the fall. Gen mostly created ages by copying phrases from other books that he found, ignorant of the subtle and complex ways these phrases would interact. Perhaps even worse, he would often delete words that he considered to be pointless embellishments. As a result, most of Gen's ages ended up being unstable. Atreus, by contrast, applied his usual approach of observation and analysis like we've seen in the Selenitic Age, and soon understood the art better than Gen did. We can see that even long after these events, Atreus still applied this scientific method, including here in Stoneship. He'd form a hypothesis about some aspect of the art, wrote a book to test it, and observed the result. He always tried to determine how the things he wrote manifested in the age, and could sometimes have unexpected side effects, such as the appearance of people here on Stoneship, which Atreus was never really able to explain. One such experiment was this particular attempt to ride a ship into the already finished Stoneship age. The Dunny, as a rule, never modified ages after they had linked there, because modifications could often render the age unstable, or could even cause the book to link to a completely different age altogether, losing the original link forever. We can see that Atreus was obviously not entirely successful here, because he obviously didn't intend for the ship to merge with the rock, although he later used this failure to his advantage when riding Spire, as described in Myst 4. And we'll see what else we can find on this age in the next video.